So welcome back to 300 Seconds from Cannes. I'm now joined by the fabulous Laura and Kate, who are the co-founders and CEOs of Liberty Hive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bit of everything. I mean,
yeah, there we go. How's your Cannes been so far?
Oh, it's been brilliant.
Yeah.
We arrived a bit later than most people, so we got here last night.
Right.
But we've thrown ourselves straight in, up early, going to all the different events, and yeah, very hot as well.
Yes.
Hot.
Yeah.
I would say we're total Cannes virgins. We do not know how it works, so
Really,
we've been learning really quickly.
Like you can have rosé for breakfast and things like that.
Yeah, it's our first glass of rosé of the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Keeping hydrated.
Yes.
Excellent. So, well, thank you for joining us. We are speaking to a number of industry leaders from, agencies and pitch consultants, and it's really to look at the agencies, clients, and the growth market. And I think you guys probably have quite a unique take on the different types of talent that clients and agencies are now looking for, how that's probably changed over the last few years. So I just wondered right now, what is the talent that agencies are finding it hardest to find right now? And is there a thing behind that demand, do you think, that's driving it?
Yeah. Well, from what we're seeing, and actually what we're trying to grow ourselves, is sort of that whole data, creativity, tech, AI.
Right.
So the blend of all of that, if you can get a candidate that can understand all of those and advise on that, that's a big area of growth.
Yep.
And one actually we're going to be launching into later this year. So looking for more of those tech and data and AI people. And that has been driven by loads of things. I mean, Meta obviously is now doing all the targeted ad and AI creative itself. So unless you have people at agencies that can understand that, they're just going to be sidelined. So that's one area. I suppose retail media is another big area with Amazon. So Amazon, obviously, that's a very different retail media strategist that you needed from when we were planning. What was it, Wobblers or whatever they're called at the end of
the shelf wobblers.
Yeah, you've got proper retail strategists now.
Yeah, I think another area as well that people talk to us about is being able to supercharge their business, because they can't always have those full FTEs the whole year round. So actually, when it comes to pitches, when it comes to specialists, like it might be having a media retail specialist but only needing them for 3 months, or tech and AI, and that's where actually being able to access quality talent really quickly has been a real key area of success for us. So yeah, as Kate says, we just keep expanding out. So we're sort of starting with media, but we're now very much in that creative space, and AI, tech and data launching in July, so not so long away.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think some of the bigger agencies, again, they're looking for those efficiencies that AI will give them. Now that's not great for headcount.
No.
But they need people that can actually drive the AI within the agencies to make those efficiencies. So it's a different skill set, isn't it? Where you're replacing some of the more junior roles, you need that skill set to be able to create the processes and the AI to speed it up.
Yeah. And what are you hearing from clients wanting more of from agency teams? And are agencies adapting fast enough, do you think?
That's a really interesting question. I mean, we're talking to clients where they're in-housing a lot of things now. So it's a tricky position for agencies, because I think if you get behind that in-housing and helping, we see the agencies that are helping to navigate that in-housing process and being an advisor and bringing us on board. That's been actually, I would say, in the last 2 months, our most successful kind of area that we're working in. But it's a tricky one for agencies, because there's people in-house and take that talent and that data ownership. It's like, where does the agency role fit within that? Which is still got a huge role to play, but I think it just is starting to look a little bit different.
Yeah. And I think that shift from traditionally agencies have obviously advised on the brand side and been very much in the marketing challenges, and actually being a partner on the business side. So that goes back to how the business might be structured. So whether that's in-housing, but also understanding the business challenges from maybe a market, more into the marketplace, their financial, their shareholders.
Yeah.
Actually getting more involved with client businesses and perhaps, we've tended to be more on the marketing side. So
Yeah.
I think they're the agencies that are going to really do well. And
You say about client, it's in-housing. There was a piece of data that came out of eMarketer at the end of last year, showing the share of client spend, how much was in-house, how much was independent agencies, and how much was going into holdcos. In the last 5 years, the holdcos have lost 15 percentage points. They've lost a third of what they have. They've gone from 45% of total spend down to 30. And the indies, they've lost 1%. They've just, and it's all going in-house. And I know there's a dynamic. It's the bigger clients are taking it in-house, and the holdcos have the bigger clients. Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but that is definitely a trend that we're seeing.
Yeah.
And actually, all the independents seem to be kind of thriving with that.
So I spent 25 years in the holdcos and came out to find this vibrant, thriving, independent. I didn't even know that. Well, I didn't really know anything about it. And I go and speak to them, and they've got a heart and a soul, and they're excited about what they're doing. And people love it. They've got,
it's easier for them to change, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's really much easier. And then they suddenly can go, right, okay, well, we are going to do creative as well as media, and we are going to integrate, we are going to, bring data. They could just move that bit quicker.
Yeah.
So no, they do. They are a thriving bunch.
Yeah, I do like them. I do.
Yeah.
It makes me think of the old days of agencies.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And we see that with our candidates coming onto the platform. They really want to work with the independents because they recognise what's there, and they've got, they haven't got big processes and things. They can be agile, and a lot of the independents they will fully say they're looking for their next leadership team in some of those more senior roles. And so they're it's for a candidate going into an agency where you've got to say, you can change stuff. It's agile. It's entrepreneurial. It's really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we love working with the independents. We love working with everyone, but independents.
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you think the agency operating models are out of sync with what today's top talent actually wants? And it's what the business want and what the people want.
There is I think post-COVID, there is now this sort of it's a growing gap between how people want to work and how actually agencies want people to work.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that will resolve itself, but I think flexibility is, we see that when someone posts on the site and says, you can work 12 days of the month in the office and you don't have to specify which ones, those are the jobs that are going to go really quickly.
Really? Okay.
And the ones that say 4 days in the office, 1 day at home, and then there's sort of, can we negotiate on that? And it's a really tricky one because people are being quite like that. That's how, that's the agency model that we all knew. We went to work 5 days a week, and there's a lot to be said for, learning off each other, collaboration. But that flexibility is sort of lagging between what people want and what there is.
And it varies as well depending on the role. So we were recently looking for a web developer, and web developers historically don't want to be in the office. They want to they want to be remote.
They put their headphones on, their heads down.
So we found, we've got some great candidates on our books, but as soon as you say it's 4 or 5 days in the office,
they're like, no,
and they stick to their guns. They're like, no, not for me. So it does vary very much by role. I suppose the other big trend is wellness, and making sure that companies have a really good understanding of work-life balance. That's really important. There's a lot of people now that want to work on purpose-driven brands as well, more so. So we've worked on brands that are maybe tobacco, alcohol, and you have to be really aware when you're asking candidates whether they want to do that, because actually they are purpose-driven, and that's really exciting for them. And that's what they want to do.
Yeah. When WPP went to their 4-day-a-week mandate a few months ago, we wrote a piece on what is better, in work, at home, hybrid, and all of the data that I saw was hybrid working, and I don't mean proper hybrid working. Teams are happier, more productive, better mental health. Do you guys have a view on what you think is best? I guess is
we have discussed this a lot, haven't we?
And it so depends on the size of teams and things.
The size of
and
team
the function,
and the role,
functions, the roles, which Kate's kind of alluded to.
Yeah. Because some of the international roles that we do, as in sort of global account director international roles, they arguably don't need to be in the office if they're dealing with the team around. I mean, I think there's definitely needs to be a balance, 100%, and maybe 3 days is the optimum, or but it's giving people flexibility and recognizing that 3 days might work 1 week, but actually they don't mind coming in 4 days the next week because the week after it's 2 days. I don't know. It's just
I suppose we have to, in terms of how we work, I suppose that there is a reflection of what we see best, and we like being able to work from home, get loads done. But we know if we haven't been into town and had our meetings and had met with some key people, clients, it does make a difference to the business. You need to network, socialize, have ideas, talk to people, and that is absolutely key. So occasionally Kate will phone me and say, right, we need to get into London.
Yeah. So come on, in you come. In you come. If an agency wants to build kind of commercial resilience or stability, where do you think that they should invest? Is it their leadership? Is it their capability? Is it their culture? I know this is broader than just talent, but
I mean, I
all the above.
All of
say
above.
this awful word. Like, I know it doesn't follow when you talk about AI in the context of talent and structure, but AI could reduce so much of that admin to leave. I mean, and I know everybody's doing it. We're doing it, and I'm just amazed at how much time we've been able to save. So that you save time for the good conversations and putting the human touch in the right direction. It's kind of taking traditional models and innovating those, aren't they?
So probably leadership. If you've got a good leader that can, I think that's where it stems from, because then they will put the right systems in place. They will hopefully drive the right culture. And then I suppose capability is part of being that good leader, isn't it? Because then that will be the executor, which will then hopefully drive culture. So you want a bit, you want everything. But basically, it all sits with the leaders at the top who have the opportunity, I think, to follow down. But I don't know if you can prioritise. But if I was going to, I'd put leadership first. As we've all worked for leaders.
We've worked for good ones and bad ones.
We have.
The difference is unbelievable.
But there's some pretty punchy questions that those leaders have got to, and I don't like. We were talking about, will media planners even be required in a few, what Kate and I used to do in terms of what's that optimal media mix model, and as a leader, how do you navigate that whilst keeping culture alive and people very much still at the heart of it? So I'd say leadership, but it's a really tricky one.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we work in a creative industry, but we are also businesses. Are you starting to see a new generation of more commercially minded people coming into as the agencies get bigger and bigger and bigger, often the leaders aren't doing the craft anymore. Are you seeing them being much more commercially minded?
Well, funnily enough, we are. But people keep asking us for the crafty people again. They want where's the people that can craft? And that's because maybe I'm certainly far removed from the ins and outs of but we get quite a few requests for the people that are still close to the craft. But I don't know. What do you think?
I think I think it is changing, and I do think people do want more commercial. Because everything comes back to an ROI, whatever it might be. And, going back to one of the first questions I think you asked about, what clients want from agencies, and it's more of that business partnership. So that requires someone that's a bit more commercial and understanding and creating a partnership. And actually you have to treat clients differently for each setup, because I think agencies historically have gone, right, there's your client partner, there's your business, And actually, if you're commercially astute, you'll go, actually, this client needs more of that. And so we do need to be more adaptable. So I think we will see more of an emphasis on it. They just need one, the superhero, isn't it? Creativity, commercial, AI, data. So there's a lot of pressure to deliver on so many different functions now. I think that's the tough one. And I suppose if you're commercially astute, you can work out where those priorities are, maybe a bit better.
So my son is 18. He's just finished his A-levels.
Oh, congratulations.
The crazy kid well, he doesn't want to go to university, and he wants to work in media.
Yep.
He wants to work at a media agency. He did a couple of stints of work experience, and it's like, Dad, this is just what I want to do.
Yeah.
What would you advise young aspiring people coming into the industry? What's a skill set that they need? Do you
That's a
think?
good question.
And this is an off the cuff question, so you
I
haven't even
know.
allowed you to prepare
No,
for
not
it.
at all.
Someone did ask me this question last week, actually.
Go on then.
Well, he's just started out in the media industry,
Right.
and he works in AV, and
Right.
he's like, I really like it. Should I stay in AV? And I was like, I didn't just learn one skill. Right now, you need to keep multiplying your skills. So yes, do that time in AV, but move that. You know, in the old days, we did comms planning for however many. You know, and you learned how to do that, and you kept doing it, maybe in different categories, but you really learned your craft. Whereas now, I think if you don't keep moving and upskilling and and that was my advice, is just don't stay in one, not necessarily in one role, but with that one skill, learning that one skill, because you don't know what's going to happen.
What technology is going to take it. Yeah.
And some of the agencies are really good at moving graduates around. So I suppose it's exploring which agencies allow you to try different departments as well. So that. And I don't think it matters necessarily which one you go into initially, because AV is brilliant for, you know, the attention to detail, the buying side and everything.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong in AV.
No, but you want to move on. You want to move on, don't you?
Well, one of the things I said is, for example, you could work for a smaller company in the AV department, but maybe you do sponsorship as well as buying. You know, just as long as you're multiplying the skill sets, not one specialist, because you just don't know if it's going to exist as a skill set in 5 years' time.
Yeah,
absolutely,
exactly.
Absolutely.
So,
and actually, weirdly, recently we've had clients saying that they need someone that isn't so specialist to come in and actually help with the planning across lots of different
almost
channels.
The orchestration of everything.
And people have forgotten how to become so specialist that they've forgotten how to sort of pull everything together without working in such big silos. So,
Okay.
Good luck to him. Tell him to get in touch with us.
I will. I absolutely will. Last question then. What are you looking forward to? When are you here till? Thursday?
We're here till Friday morning.
Friday.
Morning.
What are you looking forward to most, apart from copious amounts of rosé?
It's just catching up with people and building connections.
Yeah.
We're here. We'd love to chat to people.
Yeah.
And it's just getting out there and seeing everyone, and also just seeing all of this.
Events that you go to and you get, like we went to one just now with Seal, and it was like really.
Oh, I heard it. Yes.
Seal was in town. That was good.
Authentic brand partnerships.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
And I don't like his music, sorry, Seal, but I thought he was really good.
I only know one tune, you know, was Kiss from a Rose, isn't it? Yeah. I know. Arrived on Sunday. I was walking down the Croisette, and probably took us half an hour to get 200 meters. Because you just meet someone else, and you meet someone else. So it's
brilliant.
It is great, and it does seem this year the whole COVID hangover is gone. It feels everyone's back in full force. They're happy to be here, and maybe it's because I'm here as an independent rather than part of the mothership now. It's just got a nice vibe about it.
Yeah.
When we first met, that you told me that you started, I think, a week before lockdown. So it's a talent business. A week before before the world went crazy, and then started shedding talent. So probably not the most optimal time to launch. But we are now 5 years on. You guys are going from strength to strength. You've got more verticals you're going into. You've got more people. You've got the relaunch of the platform. How has your last 5 years of growth been? How have you managed it in, you know, probably the craziest, most uncertain time we've had in our lives?
Yeah. Sweat, toil.
It's hard work.
I was going to say terrifying and exciting in equal measure, but we've never. I mean, we've just keep moving on. I think COVID helped us at the very beginning in a way. I mean, if you're going to take a silver lining from such a terrible time, in terms of just being more, bringing that flexibility and agility, our platform kind of answered to that. But you know, as you say, Can is back to normal, life is back to normal. Our platform has grown in terms of what people want, so we still have that flexibility, but we're just continuing to answer trends in the marketplace and evolve. So we keep moving our offering on, never standing still for a minute. And I think that not standing still, being really agile, was forced on us from day one.
And it's true, because actually when we launched the platform, we were doing it for freelance. very quickly we did freelance and perm. So that was our first very quick move.
Yeah.
We did media and marketing. Then we've now gone into creative branding and design because that's another growth area. And as I said, we've got AI and back end, so finance, operations, and HR. And now the next big move is, as I say, responding to those trends of talent in AI, tech, and data.
Yeah.
And then we've got an agency marketplace, which is business to business coming at the end of the year.
Do you sleep? Does your brains ever stop?
Oh, yours doesn't stop, does it?
We've built the technology, but we've been so busy launching these other things, so that's coming this quarter.
Right. Okay.
But again, it answers the question to your point about the smaller companies. So instead of just connecting people to people, we're now also going to connect companies
to companies.
So
yeah,
and it's not for the big networks; it's for the smaller companies that don't necessarily have all the services in house. They can tap into expertise. So yeah, it's exciting. It's never a dull day at Liberty Hive.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So you guys have the best background of anyone we've spoken to.
Well, thank you for inviting
thank you,
us.
and
It's really
we'll speak to you
good.
soon.